Greetings, worldly, positive, restless Sagittarius. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer, a tarot card reader, and now I'm going to do the December 2020 overview for the sign of Sagittarius. I am going to start with the tarot reading in the first half of the video, and in the second half, I'm going to talk about broad strokes of the planetary transits for December 2020. I encourage you to follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, where I will continue the conversation I begin here and talk in more detail about the planetary transits and ingresses as they unfold through the month of December. But in the meantime, and in between time, watching the video here for your sun and rising is a really great way to get a broad overview, and especially your rising for the second half of the video with the planetary transits. As we enter the month of December, Sagittarius, we see that you are in a state of maybe quiet meditation. You may be reclusing, you may be retreating, taking some time to yourself, some time alone to think things through, or maybe convalescing for some even. And you were covered by the Eight of Swords. This has to do with liberation, usually from thoughts, but it can be just being liberated from a situation in your life as well. And you were crossed by the Six of Cups, so this has to do with friendship. And the basis is the Five of Cups reversed. So it looks like this is about emotional healing that's taking place. And this is about turning around in gratitude and, seeing the cup as half full and focusing on the abundance and what's there instead of what's been lost or where the disappointment is. What's leaving is the Nine of Swords. And this is a time of being anxious and two in your head. That's passing. What could come into being is the Fool. This is around mid-month. This is the start of a new journey. This could be a literal trip or journey, or it could just be more metaphorical, like the beginning of a new life journey is starting around mid-month. What will come into being is the Two of Swords reversed, and also around mid-month, it looks like somebody will be revealing themselves to you. Somebody will be showing themselves to you in a way that they have not before, or letting you know their thoughts or sharing words with you that you hadn't heard from them before. Others, or fears or insecurity, the Queen of Pentacles. So this is a woman. It can be an earth sign woman like a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. If it's not an earth sign woman, it could just be a woman in business or a woman who you have a financial concern with. Others see you as the Seven of Cups, exploring all of your options for the future, and there are many. You got options, Sagittarius. And your positive feelings are the Knight of Wands reversed. And so this is a man who's unpredictable, flaky, on the move, but you have very positive feelings about him towards the end of the month. And the outcome is the Two of Cups reversed. So it looks like around New Year's, relationship issues are definitely on the table for Sagittarius around New Year's. And so that's the tarot overview. And now I'm going to talk about some of the planetary transits. So at the end of November, there's an eclipse. And I want to talk about that in this video because that's a lunar eclipse, and then mid-December there's a solar eclipse, and they're actually a pair. And this pair of eclipses represents the opening of a new story in our lives that's going to be unfolding for the next year and a half or 2 years. And for Sagittarius, these eclipses are happening in the first house, seventh house axis. And so this is the house of self and the house of relationship. And so your own identity, your own self-expression, your own decision-making processes, the filter through which you see the world is one of the things that the part of the story that's unfolding. And the other things is marriage and committed relationships. And this can be business partnerships as well. Also, sometimes the 7th house can have to do with lawsuits or quarrels. The lunar eclipse for you happened in the 7th house of relationships, meaning there could have been a culmination. With lunar eclipses, sometimes the shadow comes up in ourselves or others. It can be shocking, but it comes up so that it can be acknowledged, seen, and integrated in a healthy way. And so that is November 30th, but December 14th is the solar eclipse. And solar eclipses, whereas lunar eclipses are culminations, solar eclipses are new starts. And new moons in general are always new starts, but a solar eclipse is a turbo new start. And for Sagittarius, that is in the 1st house. And the 1st house is the most personal house of the zodiac wheel. It's the house that's ourself, it's our body, it's our identity, it's the way that we look at the world, it's all of these things. So these are really important eclipses for Sagittarius. This is an important time because your South Node is also in that 1st house. And the eclipses are all about the moon and the nodes and karma and dharma. And so anyway, this is a great time to get a reading. I encourage you to schedule one with me right away. Let's see. So December 1st, Mercury is moving into Sagittarius, and that's your sign, Sagittarius. And so this is a time where I think you're going to be very talkative. You're going to be feeling very inspired. You're going to be feeling very optimistic and faithful. You're going to have a lot of big ideas. You're going to be telling big stories. You're going to be setting new visions and ideals for the future. I mean, this is just a time where your fire is going to be burning very bright and very big. And that's December 1st through December 20th. December 7th, Pallas Athene is moving into Aquarius. Pallas Athene moving into Aquarius is moving into your house of communication. This is going to be, you are going to be having really keen insight and strategy and wisdom about the future. And this is a great time for writing for you. This is a good time for public speaking for you. This is a time where I believe, you could be having a stroke of genius at this time. And this aspect is happening from December 7th through March 7th. And, the Aquarius energy is sextile, the Sagittarian energy. So with the Mercury and the Pallas Athene, this is just a great time for vision and ideas and all of these kinds of things for you. A really great time. December 14th is the new moon in Sagittarius. So new moons are incredibly rich and fertile cosmic soil to plant the seeds of intention that we want to cultivate and grow and manifest. And this new moon, again, it's in your 1st house. So this is about you. It's about yourself. It's about setting intentions around your identity. And it's a reset. It's a new you. It's like, who do you want to be in this new world that we're entering? Because the world as we know it will never be the same again as of 2020. And where are we going in this new world? A much more Aquarian era that we're entering. Also you want to set, intentions around your Sagittarius themes, which are travel, exploration, higher education, faith, optimism, spirituality, God, all of these things, university level education, if I left that out, So this is a really beautiful solar eclipse for Sagittarius. I'm so happy to be, we're entering an energetic zone that's so much more in line for Sagittarius than the energetic zone we've been in through 2020. Also, December 15th, Venus enters Sagittarius. So Venus and Sagittarius can be a bit of a tease. We know this. She's an adventurer. She's a huntress. Venus and Sagittarius favors freedom in relationships, can have a wandering eye in relationships, can be a flirt. It's very, loves to create ideals about the perfect relationship, and these are themes of Venus traveling through your 1st house, but also because it's the 1st house of self for Sagittarius, this could be a time where you are doing things to beautify your appearance somehow. You might be feeling like showing off a little bit more or being a little flashier or just like really stepping into your shine during this time. And December 15th, Chiron goes direct in Aries. Chiron going direct in Aries is in your 5th house. This is a healing aspect, a very healing aspect that's beginning. It's just beginning in December, so it's stirring, but it's going to be a theme that's explored in the year of 2021, which I will talk more about in my 2021 overview videos. I'm actually going to be releasing 2 more sets of videos before the month is over. I'm going to do a set of 2021 year overviews for each of the signs, and then I'm also going to do a set of January 2021 overviews for each of the signs. So please stay tuned and subscribe and press notifications so that you know when I release those. But in the meantime, I want to talk about how Chiron represents the wounded healer. And so for people who are healers, obviously they're usually very much in touch with this energy, and how when you heal your own wounds, you are then able to, turn that into a superpower and help other people in healing their wounds. So there's that aspect of Chiron. And for Sagittarius, this is in your 5th house, so it's the house of children. And so this could be having to do with your kids more than with yourself. But for those who don't have children, this could have to do around like creative projects. It could have to do around, recovery or healing from addiction or compulsive kind of behaviors. It can also have to do with, having hurt someone romantically or sexually or things like that. With the Chiron energy, there's the healer, there's the victim, and then there's the one who does the hurting. And so wherever you fall on that spectrum within your 5th house, that's going to be coming up to be dealt with in 2021 and to be healed. And the beginning stirrings of that are going to be happening around the 15th of December, giving you insight to what the bigger storyline unfolding in 2021 will be. December 16th, Saturn moves into Aquarius. This is moving into your 3rd house of communication. This 3rd house of communication is going to become a very prominent area of your life for the next 2.5 years that Saturn is transiting. While Saturn enters on December 16th, it will be there through March of 2023. And Saturn, wherever Saturn is in our charts, that's where we have to face reality. That's where we have to be disciplined and very hardworking. We often take on more responsibilities, more obligations, more commitments in that area of our life during that transit. For you, this is the 3rd house. The 3rd house has several different levels with which it can be expressed. One of the main things the 3rd house is associated with is communication. And, writing and media and blogs and podcasts and newspapers and all of that is covered under the 3rd house. Your voice, your tone of voice is covered under the 3rd house. But also the 3rd house can have to do with short trips, short-term travel. It can also have to do with your neighborhood. It has to do with elementary school and high school education. It can have to do with messages. What else did I leave out? Oh, and it can also have to do with siblings or like extended relatives like cousins or aunts and things like that. And so as Saturn moves through that house, again, you can be taking more responsibility on in one or all of those areas of life. But you could also be experiencing some tough realities and having to, face reality in some way, or be having to create boundaries or experiencing boundaries or restrictions or things like that. So again, this is a really opportune moment to get a reading and understand the cosmic energy so you can surf these cosmic waves instead of being, kind of toppled over by them. And so, December 18th, Juno moves into Sagittarius. So Juno moving into Sagittarius, this is your sign. Juno is the asteroid of marriage. And so for some Sagittarius, marriage might be, a topic on your mind. And if you aren't married, if you are married, you and your partner could be renewing or invigorating your vision for the future of the relationship, setting new theoretical ideals around what the perfect vision for your relationship is. For people who are single, you may be setting a new vision or ideal around what you think the perfect or ideal relationship is. It's very, in Sagittarius, it's very theoretical, it's very vision, it's very big picture, long range oriented. For the collective, I do believe that there's going to be a cultural shift in what we think of as the ideal relationship. People are going to be valuing more freedom within relationships. During this transit, if you're already in a relationship, you may find that one partner or both partners is needing more freedom at this time. So that's Juno. Then December 19th, Jupiter is moving into Aquarius. As Jupiter moves into Aquarius, it is picking up dignity. It's been in its detriment in your second house of money and resources for the past year. It's going to be like a breath of fresh air when it enters your third house of communication. And this is going to mark a year of expansion of ideas, expansion of communication, maybe expansion somehow in your local community. It could be some grace or good fortune around these areas for you as well. So that's Jupiter will be moving through that third house for the year. It'll dip into Pisces, but we can talk more about that in a one-on-one reading. And December 20th, Mercury moves into Capricorn. Mercury is how we think and how we speak and how we write. Capricorn is very business-minded. Capricorn is very practical. It's very realistic. It's very pragmatic. It's very discerning and conservative with words. No bullshit, to the point. So this is a very business-minded Mercury from December 20th until January 8th. It's a great time for writing a business plan. Start writing your business plan when Mercury enters Capricorn and work on it through, the Capricorn new moon in January. And what else can I say about that? It's moving through your second house, and so this could be a lot of conversation about money, resources, values, a lot of very practical, realistic conversations on these topics during that transit. December 21st, the sun moves into Capricorn, also highlighting the second house, showing that there's going to be, illumination and focus for you around money and resources and possessions and food for some, and values and self-esteem also for others. And then December 21st is the Great Conjunction. The Great Conjunction is happening at 0 degrees Aquarius in your third house, marking off a new 20-year cycle and a new 200-year cycle. We have been, as a collective, human collective, in a 200-year Earth cycle, and this is the beginning of a completely new elemental energy. And also in our personal lives, it's the end of one era and the beginning of a new era. A new 20-year chapter is opening. And so it's a really one of the biggest astrological moments in our lifetime. Best time to get a one-on-one reading for sure, to understand what this chapter is for you, how it's unfolding. It's around these third house themes again. The third house has so many different levels that it operates, and throughout the transit, it could probably hit all of them at different times. And that's why understanding your own chart, the degrees of your own planets, the houses of your personal planets, will really help you just surf these cosmic waves and know how to best make use of, this energy. But Jupiter is expansive and Saturn gives structure, so there's a real opportunity here to actually give structure to our dreams. Let's see, and then December 29th is the full moon in Cancer, and the full moon in Cancer is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of it's a deep house. A great time again for a reading because it's a very psychic house, and it rules the unseen and the occult and the mysteries of life. But the 8th house also has to do with other people's money, so it can have to do with your spouse's money, your parents' money, your business partner's money. But it can also have to do with like inheritances, wills, settlements, loans, debts, things like that. And it's also the house that has to do with regeneration and transformation and death and reinventing and rebirth. And so it's this very deep house that operates at many different levels. And so whenever there's a significant transit going on for people in the 8th house, I always recommend that they contact me for a one-on-one reading, because in these general overviews, it's just, you can't really do real justice to 8th house stuff because it's just one of those houses. It's very rich. And so yeah, that is it. If you like this video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like. But I hope you liked it. Please share this video with other Sagittarii that you know. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please hit the notification button so you're notified when I post new videos. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. There I continue the conversation with daily updates in my stories about the quicker moving transits, and then more detailed updates in my feed about the planetary ingresses and the moons and all of that good stuff. So thank you so much for joining me. Astrology is my great love, and I love to share it with others. And I hope that you get as much from it as I do. And please have a wonderful, wonderful December, Sagittarius.